Yes, people, big up to all of you and welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. I am not 100% yet, but I don't want to let the community go for a long while without us having, you can say, holding a show. It's part of my life now. But unfortunately, I can't do it when that's bad as it was. But I'm much better. But that's, by the way, big up to all of you and welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you all finding the time to join today's match preview for Chelsea's game later in the day against Leeds United in the FA Cup. That game has become even more important because given how inconsistent with being, there's no guarantee we'll make it into a European place in the table. So it's important that we try and win this one if we can. But that's by the way, I hope you're all doing well. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, once again, a big up to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular morning. I'm just going to say hello to those of you in the chat. I'm not going to let it run because I'll be as cautious as possible not to lose my voice. It's not 100% yet, so if I push it like I did on the day for our last, the day the final day, I think I risk. I'll be risking a serious setback, and I don't want that to happen. And the man following another Rich James injury-prone player. Wow, what a way to phrase that. When Poch has to go, enough is enough. He's saying crap in press conferences. I'm just going to leave it at he needs an interpreter because we're not here to talk about Poch today. We have another show scheduled. We get to talk about Poch. Today we'll be talking about our home game in the FA Cup against Leeds United, which has become as important as forever because us making it into top six, top five, top four to guarantee a European place next season isn't we're not certain. I'm not too sure that we'll be able to do that. So the FA Cup has become an even more important competition given that reason. And concluding today again, yeah. Good morning to you too, Oladipo Mesola Jude. I'm quite sure you mean good morning, coach, but I think good coach. Maybe I'll get the Chelsea job. But I hope you're doing well, brother. Big up. Let's hope we can get the win against the dirty Leeds. Houston, I'm not well acquainted with how Leeds are played, how they play beyond the era of Marcelo Bielsa. And then it was high octane football. Doesn't you can say compromise his approach, but they've been doing well. That's all I can say. Given the fact that they haven't lost in like I think 12 games in a row. We'll look at the numbers in a bit. We're not going to beat about the bush. We don't have too much time to go into to start addressing all the news items or discuss whether Pochettino is the man or not. No, we're here to review to preview Chelsea's home game against Leeds United, and we will stick to that, especially given the fact that I'm struggling with my voice, not 100%. So I'm not going to be reading everything I see in the chat. But big up to you, my boss. I don't know the current Leeds United beyond the era of Marcelo Bielsa. I don't know how they play. If it was Marcelo Bielsa, I say, yeah, we have a good chance. If the manager understands that it's high octane football, no breathing space at all, then we beat them. But this one, I don't know how they play. Hello to you, to Constantine Dante. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Yes, for you. Thank you so much. Roger Dodge in the house, and that will go a long way for me. I'm going to have him be reading a lot of stuff I don't want to read. Constantine Dante, but nice to see you, bro, and thank you for always reaching out to see how I'm doing. I'm much better, but I don't want to push it. And big up to my bro, Mykhailo. So much love to you. I wish, again, I am 100% because whenever I see the likes of you in the chat, I like to scream your name, but I can do that with this. I appreciate you finding the time to join, bro. Mykhailo saying, big up, coach, feel better. got to manage your match fitness. Up the chest, keep the blue flag flying high. Come on, you Blues, chin up, Blues. I think we should. Yeah. And I was prepared. Again, coming to the season, I didn't come into the season expecting us to be playing at the level of Man City, Newcastle United, even Everton. Actually, that's because we made a lot of changes. But nice to see you, Mykhailo, and thank you for that. I appreciate you finding the time to join whenever you can. Let's see. Good morning, Coach. I am finally here on time. We're actually starting, I think, an hour late, and that's because I don't want to stay too much. You can say I don't want to do too much reading and trying to scream people's names like I usually like to do, and then end up suffering a setback. I don't like that. Big up to you too. We must win. And Gary Neville comments has yeah, he's pissed off the Chelsea board. It doesn't matter. If anything, they should learn from the mistakes they've made. And if anything, I think Gary Neville has indirectly, you can say apologize by saying we have some talent and all that. But I didn't pay too much attention to what he said about the billion pounds. What's the language, the exact language he used? It doesn't matter to me. Don't worry, I have reported Gary Neville's comments to the Labour Party. And yes, Gary Neville wants to be a Labour MP. It doesn't matter. I don't think what he said will have any negative impact on his ambitions to becoming an MP or whatever he wants to be. If you guys don't like the video, when then we will be signing one of the kids from South America instead of signing a bunch of experienced players in the summer. We don't want that, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 14 likes. We should be doing way better than that. And we have Roger Dodger. Ola. Roger, you said Ola. Ola is actually a Yoruba name in Nigeria. So I'm not sure. I'm sure you meant, I don't know. Maybe that's the correct spelling. And then it's me not pronouncing it correctly. But Roger, thank you so much for that. Gary criticized out of love. Yeah, you could see it like that. I think even Pochettino did say during his presser he has a good relationship with them, but that his criticism is a bit unfair. Look, if there's anything to learn from it, he wasn't actually criticizing him, but he's apologized, though not directly. Given what he said, that's that's the sort of apologies you get from people like that. For one game, I want to see Roger, left wing, Kachula, central attacking midfielder, myself up front to teach Gallagher and Sterling how to stop missing chances. I thought it'd be easy to say if I were Gallagher on today, I'd scored those 2 goals, but that's in hindsight. Here's the thing. I'm not going to get into that. It just doesn't make sense. We know we're not going to talk about that game. We're here to talk about the game we have today. And we don't have too much time, so we need to be as brief as possible. Let's see, Roger, I'm going to come to you right away. Let's hear you. Are you looking forward to this one before I get some of the comments we have in the chat? And we'll move on to the match preview exercise proper without wasting time, so we will be able to get through it by the time we call it a day.
I would say hello, by the way. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I feel much better, but as you can see,
good.
Not 100%. So I really do not want to push it that much yet.
I hear you. I think I'm more intrigued than looking forward to it. I want to see how these players react after 3 days coming off a final loss. So it's going to be interesting to see how they cope psychologically. What is their mindset, both collectively and individually? So I'm intrigued to see that. Obviously, I'm hoping that the lads rebound and are positive. I'm hoping that we're going to mix it up with players that didn't start off have many minutes from 3 days ago. Like Alfie Gilchrist, etc.
Even now.
Yeah, because you've got players that have played 120 minutes from that game, so they shouldn't be starting, or at least the majority of them shouldn't be starting. But having said that, when you look at our depth, especially in midfield, I mean, when Gallagher came off, who came on? Wasn't a midfielder. This is where the problem lies. So
We didn't have Casadei on the bench on that day, right?
He's cup tied.
Oh yeah, I remember. We did talk about that a few weeks ago. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Now I'm not actually sure. I wanted to ask you actually, or anyone in the chat. Now, Cassidy is cup tied. That was for the League Cup, but does that also preclude him from playing in the FA Cup, or does it have to be individual cup? So I'm not sure. Is he eligible to actually play tonight in the FA Cup, or if you play in one domestic cup for another team, are you cup tied for both? I don't know. I'd be interested to see. I would assume that when he played previously, that it will. You would assume that it's only for that specific cup, but who knows with the FA?
I'm not
Who
too sure.
knows?
I think we've asked that. We did ask that question the last time we had that conversation. We discussed him being cup tied, but I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not
Yeah,
acquainted with the risk. But go ahead and
does
what
that?
you were saying.
Yeah, but does that mean for both cups or only one specific cup? Because he only, I believe, played in one cup, and I think that was the League Cup. So does that mean, by definition, that he's available
Both
for
cup.
tonight?
Yeah, he can't play in either of the two. But I'd say if that's the case, it just doesn't make sense for him to be cup tied because he played for in one of them and then won't play for Chelsea in both.
Yeah, but you never know with the regulations nowadays.
Yeah,
They're
you
so
never
up in
know.
the
Yeah.
air. But yeah, and so um, listen, I'm looking at our depth chart and we're looking at our injury list, and it's prolific. The injury list. It's listen, we played with 8 players on the final under the age of 25. And yeah, they brought on 3 very youthful academy players, but guess what? We only had 2 players over the age of 25, and they had double that. So actually, a lot more. They had several players over the age of 30. We didn't. In fact, I calculated, had we actually started Silva, we still would have had a younger starting 11 than Liverpool with a 39-year-old. So I'm looking right now. I'm not sure about, is Thiago Silva even able to play tonight? I don't know about his condition. I know Fotmob, it
He
shows
was
that
pictured. He was pictured on the training page, training with the others. I think he should be fully fit because the last time his status read a few days, or no, doubtful. It read doubtful. So chances are he'd be available for selection. Because we need to give one of the centre backs a break.
Yeah, no, indeed.
Mm-hmm. And
No,
here's
I'm
something else I wanted to say quickly, Roger. If it turns out that Cesare Casadei is cup tied and not able to play in either of the cup competitions, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, then then you could argue it was a mistake. You could say canceling his loan contract with Leicester City because he hasn't played that much since his return, and I don't think that's good for his development given his age.
yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Yeah, because this is the sort of competition that you just throw him in there, and if need be, you can bring him out and bring on Casado if Casado is the one the manager decides to rest. I'm not too sure, but go ahead if you were still speaking, so we can catch up with what we have in the chat and go ahead with
Listen,
the preview. Yeah,
you've got Carney. He's not available until mid-March. Caesar, Cassidy, I don't know. Andre Santos, I'm not sure. Leslie Ugochukwu is not available. So Lavia's not available. So you basically got 3 players that can play starting wise. I mean, sure, you can maybe you could put in someone as a cam instead of, but or you could have a centre back to play one of the pivot sixes, but we're even thin in centre backs. So I don't know. We may have to turn to our youth academy. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities in that regard. So, who knows? I hope he's going to start certain people. I'm not sure. Like, is David Washington available? Is he eligible to play? I don't know.
He's eligible to play because he's registered as one of our senior players. He's been doing very well with the youth team, the scoring goals, assisting goals too. So
Yeah, but he
yeah,
played
if
like two.
anything, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he played a couple of nights ago, I believe. So
I
I
think
think he
2 days
played.
ago. So yeah, you're
Yeah,
correct. Maybe you saw the highlights that I saw too. Him scoring
actually,
a goal.
actually, I have not watched it, but I know we played a couple of nights ago. So that could preclude him from playing tonight, depending on how many minutes he contributed. So, I'm looking at. I expect Gilchrist to participate tonight. Whether he starts or not, probably will. Chalabar probably will start also. There's a strong possibility. I'm not sure about Malang, so I don't know where he fits into the equation. But
I've heard. I think Malans. I think you can argue that he will never get to play for Chelsea again. I've heard that he's not
yeah,
even training with the academy. He trains alone. He has no locker. Um,
yeah,
no
he's part of the
locker.
furniture.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's complicated anyway. And I will always defend him given the reasons I've mentioned, but we're not here to talk about that. But go ahead, what you were saying, Roger.
Yeah, I expect there's a possibility of Sanchez starting tonight also, considering Petrovic started only 3 days ago. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
because
be
you cannot
surprised.
argue that Petrovic needs to play more so that we can see. We've seen enough to know that
Yeah.
he's the one. Yeah, but go ahead, what you're saying.
You know what's really surprised me though?
Hmm.
There's a couple of content providers on YouTube like Nini and Mono FC. They both believe that Petrovic's distribution is inferior to Sanchez, and they believe Sanchez is the better player based on the fact that he's got better ball distribution, which I'm shocked at. How do they come to that conclusion? But I don't
You've heard
know.
me say 1,000 times that we all see things from different lenses. I
Yeah,
don't
of course,
respect. I'm
but
going to say they are entitled to their opinions, but at the
of
same time, I'm
course,
going to
of
say
course,
that's absolute horse dong.
yeah.
Even I test alone tells you otherwise. But go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that to me, I'm not sure. How does one come to that conclusion? What game are
I
they
don't know.
watching?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
eye test alone. I don't even need to see numbers to say that's the case. Um,
I was just really surprised about that
mhm.
because I pay attention to that position more than most, and I was, I was flabbergasted at that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Cassidy can indeed play. It's a shame. This will be a great game for Carney um, and Leslie to play, but obviously they're not available. I don't know. It's really frustrating, but I just want to see the mindset of these players and see how they rebound. I'm just worried about. I mean, I'm really disappointed about Nkunku. I mean, it's to be honest with you, it's an early April Fool's joke. I hope because it's just obviously it's not. It's just I'm really lost for words because
Here's why I refuse to blame Nkunku. I think something else is going on
yeah, well, you know
because it's
what
not just him.
he
Yeah.
hasn't the last few weeks that he's been playing he doesn't seem like himself, and there was a lot of assumptions that he's carrying a knock, and it looks like that knock has obviously deteriorated into something that requires 3 to 4 weeks rehab. Um, and that would make sense because he certainly hasn't been the player that we saw in preseason. So it's unfortunate, it really is, because I mean this politely, but I think he is by far the best forward being clinical. I mean, Cole Palmer's good, don't get me wrong, but I think Nkunku is on a different level. He's our only.
Oh yeah, experience, everything. No comparison. Cole Palmer maybe has a higher ceiling, but let's just leave it at the fact he's still young, but hasn't gotten to the level of Nkunku yet.
Right, yeah,
But he's capable of getting there.
he's head and shoulders above Jackson, Madueke, Mudryk, Sterling, Palmer. I think, and for us to lose him yet again, I'm interested to see. Do you know how many minutes he's played for us this season? It can't be more than a couple of games. It's been so limited and sporadic. It's
Mm.
I think you can honestly just write off the season for him this year. It's basically gone. You're looking at realistically, he's probably missed about 80 to 85% of the season. But when it all is said and done, and it's hard to comprehend, coach. It just is, and I think we can listen. And it's the same for Reece. It's the same for Wesley. I just didn't see this happening this year. I just didn't.
Yeah, let me catch up. Like as I said, again, I have to be. Let's catch up with what we have. Then we'll come back to the match preview again.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have in the chat here. This says, I am looking forward to tonight's game. If we win, I guess it papers over the cracks. But if we lose, Poch gets sacked tonight. I don't think he gets sacked if we lose. The fan base will not tolerate any more of Poch's BB, PB jobs. Big up that acronym. I don't know. I'm not sure. When Carney is injured, coach, on a serious note, don't you have any of those home remedies? I mean, listen, I think these things affect us differently. You're talking about my voice, the voice loss. Every other person in my household, usually, you know who brings these things home, who brings them home. The kids bring it home. So every other person in the house deals with it. You wouldn't even know. Some of them you wouldn't even know they had it, except the kids, the nose, whatever you want to call it. But in my case, it affects me. It's headache. It's my voice losing my voice, and also me getting annoyed easily because I've lost my voice, so I can't speak. So the easier thing to do is just to lash out unnecessarily. So I don't know. The remedies they've helped. The honey mixed with some ginger, some remedies I got from Constantine Dante, but he said add fresh egg to it. I couldn't do that. I'm sorry. But I'm better now. I'm using some what's it called? I can't quite remember what it's called. It just
Brandy.
Somebody I've heard people suggest that actually, and he was during one of our shows last year. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, Poch is a fraud. As one of our highly decorated chat members say, wow. One thing I can understand in this world is stupidity and lying. Poch has now done both to get the H out of our club. Wow. And look at you trying not to say the H thing you mentioned there, but you call them stupid. And wow, interesting. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and please try as much as you can to keep the topics aligned. Otherwise, because I'm not fully fit, I don't want to do an Nkunku or Carney. I want to stay fit, so I'm going to skip your comments if it's not aligned. Liverpool defeat is the most embarrassing defeat in our history. Let's keep it aligned, people. We're here to preview the game against Leeds United, and we don't have too much time. Really, we don't have too much time. We have less than an hour to get done. Actually, that will be 5:55. Yeah, around that. At most 2 hours. At most 1 hour, 20 minutes. No one complains about losing to Liverpool. Nothing is wrong at our club, and we are doing great. That's what I've been hearing. Okay. Cesare Casade cannot play in the FA Cup because he played for Leicester City. So, are you saying it's cup time for both competition? Go ahead, Bobby. Roger.
Yeah, but didn't he? I thought he played in the league. I could be wrong. I thought he played in the League Cup for Leicester. But does that mean he's cup tied for both domestic cups or just for one of them? That's what I'm not sure.
Yeah, which is the question we've been asking. Yeah, and I'm going to say this quickly again. I'm going to get down. Again, I'm not going to get everything in the chat. I'll try my best, and I want to bring in Bobby in to speak whether he's looking forward to the game. Then we get into the match preview. We still have the lineup prediction exercise. We don't have too much time today. Andrea Santos is currently at Strasbourg. Did Roger mention Santos? We have plenty of great young stars need to play. I think we have that, but it doesn't look like he trusts any of them. But that's an argument for another day. Malik has fallen out with the board. I don't think that's the case. He didn't give himself the sort of contract that he's on. Okay, just responding to Richard.
Actually, you know what it is? It's not that I'm Poch in. I'm give a manager more time. That's
you're being as objective as possible. Everything. Listen, Roger. I know you know my opinion, and everything you've mentioned, they're worth considering when arguing whether he's the man for the job or not. So,
in my opinion, I don't know. Honestly, listen. maybe I'm too old-fashioned, but unless you're losing 10-0 each game, then obviously you're not gonna be a good manager. But I'm just saying, the culture nowadays, and especially at our club, more than most, is that we have a trigger happy finger, and that's all I have to say. I think managers should be given more time. Unless it's in neon lights flashing red that he or she is obviously not good at their job and they can't even do the fundamentals. Obviously, other than that, which isn't the case, then I just think, listen, look at Klopp. He didn't win anything for his first 3.5 years. In fact, he was making many errors his first couple of years, and he's a world class. As I said, he didn't shut up shop. He didn't start to be pragmatic till about 3-4 years ago. But he learned to be. He never coached in this league, and he learned. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm Poch in. I'm not saying I'm Poch out. I just think we should be giving managers a longer time, in my opinion. I honestly believe that. I could be wrong, I'm not saying I'm right. Honestly, that's my belief anyway.
Yeah. All right. Let me try and get down and get to Bobby. Nini escaped from the same psychiatric institution as Carlito. Don't get me to read such things again, please, Coach. I have seen videos of a comparison of Petrovic, a ball distribution, and yet Sanchez is better at distribution, but also makes more errors. Petrovic is usually safe, but the ceiling is low. Whose ceiling is low? I want to know.
I respectfully disagree.
I will have to do some searching to find those videos, but the illustration and examples are shown were pretty convincing. Yeah, I'm basing my judgment on what I've seen at Chelsea. I'm not going to base my judgment on what he's done anywhere else, where probably in the MLS probably they didn't play much a player from the back that much, in my opinion. But I would take him anytime, any day. But I understand where you're coming from. Let's see, Nkunku losing patience being played as number 9. I don't agree with that. And here's why I don't agree with that. During an interview, Nkunku says he sees himself as a striker. So I'm not sure where you're getting that from. So that breaking news, I don't trust that breaking news, Rich. Sanchez was better, but since he joined Portugal Bland, is to pass back 100 times a game to him. So yeah, mistakes. Let's see anything else. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Let's hear from Bobby. Coach, knew you would chicken out. Chicken out of what? Okay, I get where he's coming from. Bobby, let's hear you. Are you looking forward to this one? And beat up to you. I hope the treatment is going well. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think you did mention there was a bit of a relapse or so. I can't quite remember how, and I did tell you the fact that we've been asking after you, Roger, specifically every day, and the others in the chat, and you can see in the panelists group, a lot of people are saying hello to you and praying for you. More importantly, I hope you're coping with the situation very well. So let's say you, excuse me, are you looking forward to this one? Let's hear you so that we can get into the match preview proper. Are you there, Bobby? We can't hear you.
Hola, Bobby.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Maybe.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, big up, guys. Big up. Look, am I looking forward to this game? I think not. Yes, we are here to just preview the game, but we can't look forward at Chelsea without looking back. And I think I made it very, very perfectly clear on X that what happened to Chelsea, was it on Sunday, was totally unacceptable. Simply because you can't, winning is a culture, as is losing. Winning is an attitude, it's a swagger, it's a state of mind, it's an aggression, it's a determination. Jurgen Klopp had all those things. To the point now, this man feels pity for Chelsea. I never want to be a man of pity. Where is our grit? Where is our gut? Where is our pride? You don't do these things. You don't go 6 consecutive cup finals of defeat. That's 6-1. You should be ready to be carried out in a coffin before you leave. And I don't you leave that pitch without victory. And I'm not saying that lightly. It is that serious. Liverpool had that seriousness. And now we are a point of ridicule. I deliberately posted how Liverpool fans were jeering and laughing at Enzo Fernandez. Normally that will make me angry. Now I am angry, but I'm just embarrassed. I feel we should all be embarrassed. Our fan base should be embarrassed. Our team should be embarrassed. Our ownership should be embarrassed. This is not something that we're ever going to live down. I can assure you that. You can go tomorrow and win the FA Cup. It will just be damage limitation. The joy of a victory is gone. This was that big. So going into this Leeds game, I really want to see. I've kind of detached my emotion from this team. I'm waiting to see what they'll do. They can lose if they like and be ever more confirmed to be a bunch of losers. Or they can go there, take that pain, take that humiliation, and turn it around. It's up to them. The fans that go to the bridge to watch them, my heart goes out to you. Well done. Chelsea supporters, true, every single one. Go there, make some noise for the team, applaud the team, cheer them on. But you're going to do that with bitterness in your heart. That was a bitter, bitter loss. I don't accept it. Anybody who accepts it, I really don't know what sort of fan you are. But will I stop supporting Chelsea? Of course not. I've been through so much with this team. But will I ever pacify or pretend that this is acceptable? Absolutely not. Never, ever. Pochettino is just, he's proving what I said. Remember, on this stream, I said it. This guy is Spurs. He's a loser. We don't want losers. Eventually, I got persuaded. The guy did a fairly good uh, um, preseason. I thought, okay, let's give him a go. He probably is the one to at least knit these youngsters together. And indeed, he has been unlucky. Another thing is that the ownership has invested in a bunch of weaklings, players that are being paid to sit on the injury table, players that have been given key positions in the team but are not available for the team for an entire season. Reece James, Wesley Fofana.
Just quickly, Roger, you see the response to the questions we were asking on the screen. Go ahead and answer to that. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, Nkunku, Romeo Lavia. Yeah, you can't help your injured. Yeah, but the fact is that you're effing injured. You're always injured. Chilwell, crikey, I'm surprised he played as long as he did. We can't have this. This is not only costing the club money, it's costing the club its reputation, it's damaging the club. Do you know, Poch, what in his interview, nobody gives a rat's backside what your reasons were for losing. Roger, you and I both know, flip the pages of the history books in a couple of days' time, they just say who won, period. Who lost? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. And when you look at those albums that we used to look at as kids, and you see the list of winners of this cup final, that cup final, Liverpool, 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 losers, Chelsea, 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 Chelsea. That is an embarrassment. As a kid, I used to hate seeing us in the losers column. But well, we've done that now. We've become losers. We should never get that bitter taste out of our mouth. We are losers right now. Will Pochettino ever rectify it? My goodness me. He has now made his job 20 times worse because he has to win, win, and keep winning. That's the only way. He has completely lost the fan base. And I'm number one now. I don't give a rat's ass about this guy. I don't care. I just don't want to hear him until he's talking about winning. And even then, it's not enough for me. He really now has to go some. I don't care what his injury list is like. I don't care. The fact is that there was enough. on the day to win. What he lacked was mentality. What Klopp had was mentality. When he was ravaged, he turned to his grit, spirit. When Chelsea was ravaged, he was looking for penalties. Shame on him. Shame on him. That's all I have to say. Against Leeds, I wouldn't be
But
surprised if
Bobby,
they
just quickly,
lose.
to his defense, he had to say that wasn't what he meant, but I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm just going to say
Yes.
he said that wasn't what he meant, but
Yeah.
for me, if you ask me whether I believe that, I'd say no. He let
Yeah,
the
I
fan,
don't.
I'd say he let the fan that was an issue and that tried to walk it back. But go ahead, I'll let you drop so that we can move on. We
No,
have a
you're
game
you're
to preview, but we don't have too much time. Go ahead.
You're very right, coach. I don't believe him. I believe he was playing for injuries. The whole way in which they defended that corner showed that they're just giving up on the match. You don't do that. As I said, you go there with the attitude of, look, you should be taken out on a coffin before you lose that game. That's what Liverpool did. They went there to fight. Yeah, we didn't have our Virgil van Dijks because Reece James is always on the granny table being paid. Yeah, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't. Yeah, that's very, very true. And that's plausible. But that game, it was not an excuse. We had enough. We should have won that game. This is the shame of the century for Chelsea Football Club. As I said, Leeds, well, let's wait and see. But now they have to prove themselves. They have to win back the supporters, and they're doing it from about 4, 5, 6 trophies behind. Because the winning that's going to try and at least pacify this is a lot. Period.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to catch up what we have in the chat. Since Keishan has joined us, we're going to hear whether he's looking forward to the game. But yeah, that's what he's here to talk about. But anyway, we'll get him. We still have enough time to get through the match preview exercise. Yeah, Keishan is there. No need reading that. Purchase in game management. Purchasing game management is just like this English. I'm not doing that. Please, you guys be merciful here. Roger, purchase been a line that should be enough. Okay, let's see. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and not because I'm not seeing the comments you have in the chat. That's because I have to, yeah. You can say my return has to be gradual. I don't want to do an Nkunku or Lavia. You can say any player you mentioned, even Reece James. I don't want to start and then play like I'm fully fit and then lose my voice and then we're not going to have a show for a few days again. Gary never coming to cost Poch job. No, I don't think so. Sanchez is a terrible distributor of the ball, in my opinion. Okay. Let's say anything else. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Here's the question I have for you, anybody else here to get their comment there. When we overpay for bombs like Enzo and Mudryk, what do you really expect? Wow, some comments right there. Let's see anything else. I feel like Petrovic is a much better all-round goalkeeper. I feel the same too, but people are entitled to their respective opinions. Coach, chicken out of eggs from chicken. Yeah. I chicken out of raw egg. I can't stand it. Even when I'm making scrambled eggs, the smell alone can get me sick. That's the sort of person I am. My favorite people. Okay, thank you so much for saying that. No need to read it out. But I appreciate you saying that, my boss. I hope I appreciate you joining us. Coach, the videos, yeah, I think I've responded to that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. The reason why we lost 6 consecutive finals at Wembley, it's because the players lack winning mentality. Let's see.
And that comes from the manager.
I'm coming in a bit. Can you send me a message on how to find that? No need reading it there. But I just see says it's just another stats that's misleading. You can argue that's the case. I'm not going to argue against that. I don't accept the loss, but from me, if you ask me from what I've seen, in my opinion, maybe I need to see the video itself. Hopefully, JC finds it and shares it with all of us so that I can take my time to watch it. And maybe I agree to watch them, but I doubt whether that'd be enough to convince me because I'm going by what each of the goalkeepers what they've done at Chelsea. Pocha accepted the loss because we were tired. That's another thing. That's another thing. When we talked about it, I didn't agree. I said sometimes even if a player is injured, it's a final. Sometimes you push them to stay and finish the game.
When did Liverpool play? Liverpool played midweek.
They did.
We didn't.
Yeah.
So
Coach,
he's making excuses,
Coach, by the way, Petrovic is absolutely absolved from any of this shambles. He is on another platform. The rest are a bunch of losers. And you're right. And there is just nothing to say, coach. This is why it's so embarrassing. Liverpool played midweek. Yes, they've not had a season of injuries, but on the day they had enough injuries to be weak. They just had the mentality. Winning is a mind. It's a swagger. It's that you look at people like Drogba, Terry, Lampard. You see that swagger, that mentality, that grit. You go there to win. Pochettino is weak. He's a weakling, and it transmits to his players.
All right,
I'm ashamed of
let's
this
not go
club.
too much that so that we'll be able to finish the match preview. I think we can host a show where we'll talk strictly about Pochettino. Bobby, when I called all of these months ago, you said I should leave and support another club. We say these things are out of pain, whether we disagree or agree on something. We all love the club, no matter how you say it. And Justin, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and then I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. Just too many right now to get apologies. Chelsea boy, I haven't gotten any of your comments today. Not the first time Poch has lied. Remember, he said, no thereof. Just leave the guy alone. Chimera, nice to see you. Pain for all of us here. And it wasn't just Pochettino in that match. Enzo missed such a dumb back heel. Yeah, I remember that. I was pissed, but I've moved on beyond that in front of goal, which he never do. He'd never do in Argentina. Mudryk just didn't look bothered mentally, mentality-wise. Okay, I get where you're coming from there. Coach, I'm coming, Kishan, I'll get to you in a bit. One thing is clear, Poch has realized that CFC fans are not like Sporting fans. He has tried every Hollywood stunt, but fans just wouldn't take what he prescribed to smoke. Now he has had to change. Okay. Adebayo Makunju, Ibali is the biggest problem at Chelsea. It's now so evident. I have closely watched all our owners before coming to his conclusion. And you're saying that because you've seen him say, yeah, we did good and all that. Speaking about reason, let's see. Okay, let's see how you question. Are you looking forward to this game so that we can move on to the match preview proper? We don't have too much time.
I'm not looking forward to anything with this club anymore. Honestly, it's crazy. I don't even think we'll beat Leeds. I think Nanto will destroy Ben Chilwell. You know, Ben Chilwell likes picking fights with little kids, so let him. He'll have fun with that. But my thing is with this guy Pochettino, we need to get him out now. Like, he showed who he was in that game in added time. He showed who he was.
So you don't believe he was? You could say. You could say taken out of context, like he was trying to explain later on.
He doesn't have to explain anything. We saw everything on the field. The game explained it all for us. You sub in three attackers, and you're saying we're tired, so we're not going to attack. What sense does that make? You subbed in 3 new attackers, and you're not trying to attack. And at the last 20 minutes of regular time, we had them on their back foot. So why would you take your foot off the gas? Why would you do that unless you're scared? So Pochettino's mentality is, oh my God, let's just wait until penalties because I don't trust these players. And then you look at Klopp. Klopp is on the sideline laughing with these young guys, instilling faith in these young guys. After every game, Pochettino calls out our young guys. Says, "Oh, we don't have experience here. That's why we're not good." It's things like that. All these little things culminate to how people perform on the pitch. Mudryk, there's so much more. Okay, we knew this problem of set pieces since what, the beginning of the season? What improvements have we made on set pieces? And people are, oh, Mudryk should. How is Mudryk guarding Van Dijk on a set piece or whatever it was?
So, gentlemen, do
and
you
he
think
has this
Klopp...
such height fetish. You have this height fetish, but you do not want to put our tallest player against their tallest player, who scored a header like 10 minutes before that got disallowed.
So gentlemen,
like
can I ask you a question? Can I ask a question? Do you
Yeah,
think Klopp
yes.
has a more? Do you think he has a winning mentality in finals? Then is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Well, guess what? Prior to him coming to Liverpool, his record was woeful.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, but it matters though,
It
because
doesn't.
because he is infallible. In fact, I think he has a 500 record in finals. He's
No.
won 7 finals. He's lost 7. So
Roger, I love you, my brother, but
yeah,
you
same
don't
here.
go 6 consecutive
No,
penalty losses
right, but
in a club.
was
You don't do
Oh
that.
my goodness.
But under how many
final
managers? How many managers did we go under? It wasn't one manager. It was
Doesn't matter.
multiple managers.
If you're that 6th guy, you and your players will be
Oh
brought
my
off on a coffin before you lose that game. And what is more frustrating, this
I
guy
beg to
that spoke
differ.
was very right, was that game was there for the
Yes,
taking.
I'm not
You
disputing
just had
that.
to show some grit. It's weakness. It is so weak. It's vomit worthy. That's not Chelsea.
It's
So because
Spursy.
Disassi lost his marker, then the manager has to take the axe on that. So
Yeah.
I do concede that they played 118 or 119 minutes. I get it. You're tired. You know, the first thing to go is your mind, as they say, before your legs, right? I get that. I'm not blaming solely Disassi, but that's what happens. It's not like we got beaten 8-0 in the first half. It's like, and I'm just bringing up the mindset of like, well, Poch, he hasn't won anything.
We're
blah,
there
blah,
to
blah.
win, not to participate.
No,
We're there to
and
win.
we're on the same page. But look, I'm just bringing out that Klopp actually has a worse record than Poch does prior to him coming to Liverpool. That's all I'm pointing out. It's not like he's a perennial winner where he's never been beaten in a final. In fact, the big knock on him.
Poch is his bitch. He beat
Okay.
him up in the Champions League final, and then he beat him up again last
Right, and
Sunday.
how many Champions League finals does it? I think he's like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 in Champions League finals. So I'm talking about not Klopp. I'm Klopp, not Poch. So he's got to lose. So he's a loser then, by your definition. No, it's not that. This is what you listen. Coaches coach, players play. Liverpool is probably our most successful team in England. Yeah, they're one less first division / Premier League title less than Man U, but they've got vastly more European and FIFA. You know, yeah, their trophy cabinet is bigger than Man U's or anyone's. Basically, I get
and
that.
Chelsea's given them four of them.
Right. But
that is acceptable. That's not acceptable to me.
I'm agreeing with you, Bobby. I totally concur with you. It's not acceptable to us, but we didn't lose 6 finals under this one manager consecutively. It's been the Italian guy. It was Lampard. It's been Tuchel. It's been a plethora of managers. He's 1 out of 4, I think, out of those 6. You know, I'm not, you can't just throw him under the bus like that because of the previous history, the last since 19.
Roger, let me answer this quickly. Because I want us to go back to the match preview as soon as possible.
Yeah.
There's something I've noticed actually. Let's address that one and move on from it quickly. It looks like Poch is actually into throwing his players under the bus.
Could you say that again, sir?
It looks like he's into throwing his players under the bus. It looks like in the moment, after every loss, after situations where you can say every time something goes wrong, in the moment, in most cases, he finds one player to mention. In the last time, I don't know why he went to the extent of specifically mentioning Gallagher's misses. I don't think that's okay. So would you say he's
you have to take
throwing his players under the bus? Sorry?
I don't look at it that way. Listen, I've watched every single presser he's had under Chelsea, not any other clubs he's had. And does he get? Listen, it's his second language, And does he perhaps use certain things out of context, or has to then come back? Listen, like he used millions, the word, instead of minutes a few months ago or a month or so ago. It's not, listen, if you go to another country and it's not your mother's tongue, so to speak, obviously he's not as comfortable speaking English as he is his mother's tongue, which is Spanish, I believe. So, you know, you have to take that into consideration also, where he does struggle to contextualize things. I'm not being his attorney. I'm not. I'm just saying I've seen him time and time again where he actually is taken out of context. So I think that has some validity to
Roger,
it.
we
you
saw
guys,
an
you
added
guys,
time we were not looking to score the ball. Do you agree?
I've watched the game multiple times, and
you
you know what?
guys, you guys all know me. I'm so diehard Chelsea. It's
Yeah, I know.
ridiculous. I have so much bias. It's crazy. But I tell you what, that game, that day, I remain perennially ashamed. I'm ashamed of the club. I saw big, Chelsea people trying to defend the club on social media, on mainstream media, the few of us that do that, and they just were humiliated. That was a humiliation. I can't defend it. Nobody can. I think the best thing we should do as fans is point out the reality of it and see if we can swallow that bitter pill and keep going forward. But looking for excuses, I can't. Pochettino has brought his weakness to the club, whether he's the fifth manager in a row or whatever. He's the manager now. What I
So,
witnessed that day, I will never accept.
so
Never.
you're going to blame him or the coaching staff? When I'm talking about coaching staff, I'm talking about Poch and his coaching assistants, okay? Because
All of them.
Poch doesn't.
All of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not just blaming Poch, or when I'm talking about Poch, I'm talking about a collective of the coaching staff. Look, we had 5 missed big opportunity chances, they call it. They had 1.
Yes.
So can we blame Disasi from 2 yards out, coming off his knee and missing, or
Yep.
Nkunku? You can blame Poch for Nkunku missing that, or Disasi
Roger,
missing that.
Roger,
Come on.
I got a question for you. Have
Yeah,
any
no,
of these
no.
attackers got better at striking the ball? Have any of them got better at striking the ball? And we know that's a problem. We can't finish. Does he practice shooting? Do they practice shooting? Do they practice defending set
Yes, they
pieces?
do.
It doesn't
Yeah,
look like it
they
because every time
practice,
they're out there, they concede a goal to set pieces and they can't shoot the ball.
right?
So
Because
are these players even progressing? Are they progressing? Because if they're
Roger, I'm
not, then
sorry
what
that
are we
I can't
really
help you in
doing?
this one because I
no.
don't
Here's the
have
deal,
words.
gentlemen. Here's the deal, gentlemen. We're comparing apples to oranges, and let me just contextualize that very briefly. We're used to John Terry's, Lampard's, Didier Drogba's, etc. Where guess what? They're elite players in their prime, and have afforded us the luxury of 20 years of a lot of silverware. And we've got a plethora of players. What was our starting age? You're looking at 8 players under the age of 25.
We
One
lost
player
the
that's
cup to a
24.
bunch of kids.
Yeah, no, but they had a starting average age larger than ours, older than ours,
Yeah,
and a
because
finishing
Endo's 30,
11.
Van Dijk's like 30, and all this.
No, he's
like,
not. He's 32. He's not like 30. He's 32.
that's what I meant. Okay, so they have 2 very old players, so the average is
Okay, yeah, but the law of there's 3 different kinds of averages. Okay, right? Do you understand that? There's the median, the mode, and what's the other one? I forget that. But
the
you look
mean,
at
the
it,
median, and the mode. Yeah.
mode, right? And you do it. You go by the mean, right? And guess what? You've got 8 players under 25. They had 4. So now 3 of them are teenagers, but look how many bloody players we had that were 20, 21, 22.
Roger. A kid named Dan's was dribbling through our defense. Who's Dan's, bro? They were just playing against Stoke City in like a U19 game, and then they come against us and they're dancing against us. Come on, like what are you defending right now? What are you really defending?
I'm telling you, mathematically, we had a younger team than them. both at the beginning and at the end. That's a fact. That's not subjective. That's objective.
All right.
Okay,
It looks like we have to just move on from this. Really.
That's a fact. You can't repeat that.
Let's get into the match preview exercise. And I'm going to scroll to the very bottom after reading this particular comment on the screen. What is player mentality? This is coming out from the coach alone. If we have a squad that needs a mental push from the manager, then they shouldn't be here. Next one we have here. Watch out from Chimera. I've seen that Mudryk mid ends the mid. Okay, everybody mid. Yeah, we practically don't have a team according to you. That's not my opinion. That's your opinion. And Nkunku injured. Another. We've read that. You started with that. I have never seen a Chelsea team more nervous. How can every single player look so afraid to use the ball? They're kids. The kids will always be kids. They either hoof it or chip or
That's what happens when you're ill prepared.
Okay, and that's another. But let's get into the match preview. So we're not going back and forth because we don't have too much time. If you don't mind,
I'm sorry, coach. But that is so correct. When you're not prepared, that's when you're nervous. It's like when you go in for an exam and you haven't studied well up to the exam. You go in nervous. That is spot on. They were not well prepared. That is totally inexcusable. We are humiliated, and I won't forget it.
All right, let's move on now. I'm going to move to the very bottom, and then I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat if they are aligned. If they are not aligned, I'm going to skip it. I'm not on 100%. So if I try to get all your comments, the chances are we're not going to do a show for another 3 days. That's because I lose my voice. It's arguing. Let's see what we have here. Neil Dan's son is Jaden. Okay, who is a Guyana international who played. Okay, I'm not sure why that's relevant right now. The significant overall improvement over the past result makes it difficult to see the level of progress we've made. I do believe we've made progress, but my argument is a different thing altogether. Too many of you fan base are looking at this within a magnifying glass. Yes, Poch is a problem, but who brought him here, and who's going to bring in the next next one? Let's see. Y'all ain't gonna like this with the agenda for Silva was missed. To an extent, yes. Let's see. We need to be starting Mudryk. He was good. Okay, let's stick it to the game now. Bobby's hit map today. Bobby did come. I knew he was gonna be, I'm not sure how else to phrase it. I knew he wasn't gonna be. He wasn't happy with the outcome of that game, and today he would want to talk about it. Paul Winstanley wants to spend another 200 million. Okay, let's see. I agree with what Kishan has said. The blame is on the manager. Okay, when we lost 6 consecutive finals at Wembley, on the manager, then you have better phrase that as managers. He wasn't the manager that led us to all those 6 finals. We have to be more specific. There, we need a refund on Madueke and Mudryk. I can't blame those players. Just put Bobby in each positions. He's capable of playing in all those positions. Now play Bobby further up the pitch. Okay, good conversation there. So here's what we're going to do. Let's look at this. What the numbers tell us. It's not looking good. How many players do we have to injure? We know about Wesley Fofana, Thiago Silva mid-match, actually. So he's not going to be available for selection. Romeo Lavia mid-match, also Rich James early April, Marco Correa a few days. Marco Correa will go a long way because we don't have numbers in that department. Let's look at Chiku early March, Christopher Nkunku late March, Kani Chukwuemeka mid-March, Ben Weber de Chile early March 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's back to the usual number, you could argue. And Choma, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Thank you so much. If we concede first against Leeds United, it's over. That's good. That's just sad. Let's see what happens. To everyone in the chat, just saying hello to people there. Let's see what else we have here. I won't be surprised if Nkunku gone in the summer. I don't think he'll be going because you're not going to get anything close to what we paid for. I'd argue, I'm not going to start pointing fingers at any particular player and say and blame them for getting injured. That's because there's a pattern to what has been happening at that club. So there's more to it than blaming the individual player. But in this case, you could say yeah, at Leipzig, he was getting injured every now and then too. Thank you for that again, Mabas. I appreciate you saying that. So for them, they have, I don't even know the players, Stuart Dallas, Samuel Byrne, is that how you pronounce that? Pascal, and also Carla Dallo. Is that Dallo? Yeah, you could argue that's how you pronounce that. But that's by the way. And for them, their last meeting with them, in total we've played them the last five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings with them. We won 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, drew 1. They won 1 actually. We won 3, they won 1. 3 goes to nothing. I think I remember that one. That was under Thomas Tuchel. And then drew 1. Their last 5 games, they've won all of them. They've scored more goals than us in total, even if we want to count that. They've conceded not too many. They've conceded just two goals in their last 5 games, but we've conceded a total of that's 2, 3, and 4. We've conceded 8 goals in total in our last 5 games. And out of the last 5 games, we've won just 2. We drew 1 and lost 2. They've won their last 5 games, and chances are, for extend this, they've won more games. I think they haven't lost in 12 games in total. This says Chelsea and Leeds United have not drawn any of their last 4 matches against each other, which means most likely there will be a winner. Who, I don't know. They haven't lost in 12 matches, so yeah, they've been in excellent form of late. We haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 matches, so the numbers aren't looking good. But when it's usually like this, that's when usually Chelsea, surprise everybody and win the game. They've won their last 6 matches in total. So the numbers, if we're going by the numbers, it's not looking good for us. But then again, the game is played over 90 minutes and plus at the time. So that's not to say we can't go by the numbers and just say, yeah, we're losing this one. Roger, here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to plug in the players I think will start, and you would look at it. If you disagree, then we'll use the poll to complete that. We don't have too much time. I think Sanchez will start. I think we've gone beyond past, you said, the time where you say, okay, you know what, you have Sanchez, where you say, you know what, Petrovic still needs to play more because he hasn't played in a while. I think he's played enough. The manager knows he's a good player. Colwell, I think, still starts because we can't do otherwise there. Except if the manager does, then we'll find out in a few hours. The Sassi starts too. Right back. I think we're going to see, in my opinion, I think we're going to see Gilchrist. That's just my opinion anyway. Okay. Left back, I think we don't have too many options there. I think Chilwell starts still. Okay, 2 6s. I still think Enzo will start this game because we don't have too many options there. I'd be shocked if someone else starts in his place, but chances are we could see Gallagher drop deep. Why one of these 2 guys? While we rest either Casado or Enzo Fernandez, but I'm not too sure. Here, where did I do that again? I think there's a chance Gallagher will be on the bench just to rest him, because in a few days we get to play on Sunday or Saturday, right? What day exactly? Let me see.
Do you think there's any scenario at all where Chilwell doesn't start? Because he looks.
There's a possibility, because I think chances that he can move Gilchrist there and still play Gusto.
Yeah.
Or move what's his name? Move Gusto to the left and play Gilchrist in the right back position. He can do that, actually. And I think he will make some changes. That's because after today we still play what day again? Let's see. Saturday. We have a game on Saturday, so I think he will rest players. Go ahead.
Yeah. Which other centre backs do we have available? Disasi, Colwell, and who else? Oh yeah, Chalobah.
I know Chalobah is available, so there's a chance he starts actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Chalobah plays as a centre back and possibly Colwell will play as a left back for this game, and have Gilchrist start. I see him resting. Those
you see who rested Gusto, right?
I see Gusto being rested, but especially Chilwell more so. I wouldn't be surprised if Gusto plays on the left, but I think there's a strong possibility. I mean, I could be 1000% wrong here. I'm usually am, But yeah, I can see Colwell starting on the left, and what's his name, Chalobah starting with this Sassy.
So you say you can see Colwell standing in the left back position because I think he's gonna rest Chilwell.
I think so because he mentioned that he was struggling. So I'm assuming that's what I would probably do, and I think there's a strong possibility that indeed may transpire. But as I said, just an assumption.
So where do you disagree here?
I think Colwell plays on the left, and Chalobah plays with Disasi. I know they're both right centre backs. I get that, but I can see that happening. Either Disasi or Chalobah playing left centre back.
I think he will most. I think he will most likely rest Disasi because he's played more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible Chalobah could even start for Disasi. I don't know, but I'm just looking at the position of Chilwell being more injury prone and he's just getting back. I don't know. That's the thought that went through this small little brain of mine.
All right, Bobby, if you're there, I think most certainly, but one thing is certain, Roger, he's going to make changes, but we're not too sure who's going to be rested for who. At the back, we don't have too many options there.
Yeah, we don't.
And I don't think he would want to risk making too many changes in the back line and lead to, you could say, a disjuncted display that could lead to us conceding unnecessary goals, making errors that will lead to us conceding goals. I'm not too sure what he's going to do there, but Bobby, let's hear you. What do you think? Let's ask people in the chat, left who starts in the left back position. But I'll be more specific this time by asking who do you think Pochettino will select for the left back position. But let's say, Bobby, what do you make of the lineup we have on the screen here?
What you'll have to call it out for me. The left back was who? Chilwell?
Yes, sir.
Left back Chilwell, two centre backs, Colwell and Disasi. Right back Gilchrist. I don't think Gusto starts this game. That's just my belief. But I'm not too sure. Two sexy centre for Fernandes and Caicedo. That's because we don't have too many options there, except if we see Gallagher dropping deep. But I think Gallagher will be rested because we play on, was that a Sunday or on Saturday? What day did I see there? I actually checked. 10 Palmer. Mudryk, I think, comes in. Definitely, I think Mudryk comes in. Jackson, number 9. I think other players, the more trusted players, for lack of a better language, there will be on the bench in case if things aren't going our way. I think the manager would want to have the option of bringing them his most trusted players on if things don't turn out the way he wants. But let's hear you, Bobby. You've heard the names I mentioned there.
Yeah, I think it won't be far off that. There's not that much to choose from anyway. So I think he'll certainly start that way. Will they be jaded after extra time and all that? I really don't give a rat's ass. They're there to win. They're there to fight for Chelsea. Will they get injured? Well, what else is new? He has to play what he's got, and he's got to drill them well, and they've got to get up and win. There's just no other way to put it. So yeah, that should be. You're not going to be far off that, if you're far off at all.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's difficult to say because this has become a very important game for us to make Europe, because we're not too sure we're going to finish anywhere, in my opinion, in the table that will mean us participating in a European competition in the coming season. Kishan, let's hear you. What do you make of the lineup?
Oh, you said me?
Yeah, Kishan, yeah, you.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I like the lineup. I think that'll be good against Leeds because Leeds likes to go up and down. So, pause. So I think Mudryk could maybe do something, possibly, if he's up for it, because he doesn't look like he's ever up for anything. Hopefully, yeah, that front three looks good. Yeah, I don't see Gallagher playing this game because I guess he was too tired from last game. So, yeah, I think the lineup is fine.
All right, let's hear what those in the chat has to say. Anything else you want to talk about, Roger?
No, yeah, I'm worried for Enzo and Caicedo. I mean, they played a lot of minutes, 120, and it's a shame we don't have depth to spell them at least 45 minutes where they could maybe come off the bench for this game instead of starting. That's the worrisome thing for me.
I'm seeing a report there from PYS or PICE. I think it should be PICE, given the fact that the rest of the three letters are small letters, not all caps. It's saying Pochettino is losing large part of the fan base, and it's increasingly feels like an FA Cup. FA Cup or bust for Mauricio Pochettino. I don't think he's losing majority. Let me look at a poll that
He's lost them all.
Sorry?
I says he's not losing the majority, he's lost the whole fan base.
Let's see if that's the case. I have Bobby, you paying attention?
Yeah,
I have a poll which asks the question, why did Chelsea lose? I think that's not specific to whether he's lost the fan, but you could argue it's reflecting. You could say it's a good reflection of how the majority of the fan base feel. This says, why did Chelsea lose to Liverpool in the EFL Cup final? 23% says the manager's poor in-game management. 48% says the players' wastefulness in front of goal. 30% says all of the above. So I don't know, Roger, given that poll result, would you say, yeah, that indeed he's lost majority of the fan base? I don't know. And that's 200.
Yeah, that was always, listen, that was always going to be the case. For being an ex-Spurs manager, we said that when he was first hired.
Yeah,
you know, his back's against the wall. It always is. Unless he wins silverware for us, to quench the thirst of the fans, because let's be honest, he's come from one of Chelsea's biggest rivals, especially a London rival, by the way. So it's was never going to be palatable, shall we say, to the majority of our fan base. It just, we talked about that from the very beginning, and you know, he's going to have to write checks that he can cash, and right now it's not looking good. But listen, the fan base are not happy with the owners, or to a small degree the football directors, but they're definitely not happy, and a lot of them didn't want this manager. Let's see. You know my stance on managers. So
and it's not like you're definitely punching or punch. You're just trying to be as objective as possible.
Yeah, I just listen. Let's look at Chelsea's managers the last 20 years. None of them that were supposedly full-time managers ever won us the Champions League, did they? Who were the managers that won it for us? You know,
Di Matteo.
as simple as that. They were. Yeah, well, it is a rhetorical question, right?
Yep.
You know, it's that simple. You know, it is what it is. It's got to the finals even. Did Jose even get us to the final? No. So Avram Grant, we came close with Avram Grant, right? You know, it's Di Matteo basically, right? So by definition, he's our greatest manager, him and Tuchel, right?
Oh yeah, if we're going by Champions League one, right?
Right, yeah, the biggest trophy. I mean, some people, there are some people that have the mindset that the Premier League is our most important trophy over the Champions League, and some people vice versa with a. So it's subjective. There is nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying? But listen, most of our most successful managers never even got us to a final. You know, so I don't know. It's hard to say. Listen, we've gone through managers like it's running out of fashion. It's just the amount of managers we've had in the last, or just look at this century, for instance. It's significant, isn't it? It really is. So it was always going to be an uphill struggle, and it's the same not just for him, for any manager. Let's say we hire another manager that has coached a rival of ours. It's not going to be palatable. It's not going to go down well with the fan base. And yeah, I got to admit, this is a spoiled fan base because we have achieved so much, but we've mostly achieved it because of the great players that we've had, more so than the managers, because we've had great managers that haven't taken us to the promised land. So, players play, coaches coach. That's what I always say.
And in all honesty, talk about a match made in heaven. You could argue this is the exact opposite. That's because, you can say, I don't know if it'd be correct to use the term preconceived. You can say, how do I phrase this to come across to get my point across? It was a relationship that you can say from time doomed to fail. We knew before time that it would take a lot for him to convince the fan base, to get the majority of the fan base of the fans on his side, and yeah, it hasn't helped. I'm not sure how else to get my point across, but I do know you guys understand where I'm coming from. No matter, in my opinion, I'd say I don't see this lasting. And even though we're not here to talk about the managers today, I don't see this lasting because it will take a lot of convincing. And I still think when it matters, he's going to falter. That's just my opinion anyway. But I didn't just conclude that. I was one of his biggest supporters or defenders before coming to that. It took me a while to come to that conclusion after looking at some, you can say, how he's struggled against some managers. When managers make change, make some changes, bring on some players, impact change during the game, and he usually doesn't respond well. But that's my opinion anyway. That's by the way. I don't know, Roger. Let's talk about this. Do you see him? Do you see a situation where anybody on the panel can comment? But I want to start with Roger. Do you see a situation where he decides to rest either of these two players? I think that will go a long way. Either Enzo Fernandez or Moises Caicedo, and then having Gallagher drop deep, just to rest one of them. I don't know. Or do you think he would? Do you think would see Gallagher? I don't know. We don't have too many options for here, so the only option would be for Gallagher to start deeper and one of these guys arrested. What do you think he'd do? Or do you think he will rest Gallagher and we still see these two guys?
Well, Enzo and Caicedo, didn't they play 120? So they finished extra time, right?
And Gallagher didn't finish.
Right. I think he came off like 113 or something. I'll have to go back and look. But
around that, I think who played 113 minutes? Was he him?
I can't remember. I'd have to look. Yeah, there's a possibility. You're right. Or yeah, you're right. Or maybe just play with one. I don't know, Coach. This is what's really I'm struggling to, because yeah, it's 3 days. Yeah, and we're lucky that we don't have to travel. It's a home match, so that is a small blessing. But I guess, listen, they are young. They're in their early 20s, both of them. Maybe they can handle it, but 120 minutes is a lot. And by the way, not just 120 minutes, but you have to understand they played on the largest pitch that's possible dimension-wise. So that takes its toll. I haven't seen the stats of how much ground any of the players covered. I don't know where to look that up. I haven't really looked for it. But
that's a good factor to consider when you can say deciding whether they should start this game or not.
Yeah. Well, not just the distance, but also that they have the breakdown of sprints. There's if you cover, let's say, 11 kilometers, 2 players, but one is sprinting more than the other while the other's jogging, then obviously the stress on the body will be the person that's sprinting more. So it's not just distance covered; it's the type of runs also, and they're privy to that kind of data. They usually wear chips in their boot, right? So they will know this.
No, Chilwell isn't injured. Is he injured?
No, but he may have a knock, but I don't think he's injured. But I think because of the fact that he's injury prone and he's just recovering and he's just returned and just getting into it, I think there's a a strong possibility or a possibility that Chilwell may not start. He may come on in the second half or whenever. But I just think it's a risk playing him when you consider his medical history.
Maybe okay. The manager didn't just want to risk it because I was furious that he was taken out. In my opinion, he was one of our best players on the day, and the moment he was taken off, we started having issue in that area. He's not the tallest, but he's excellent really, in my opinion. He has a good leap in him. We have a good left back. Williams Academy looks like the Liverpool kid. I don't know. It doesn't look Poch. It doesn't look like Poch wants to give a lot of the kids opportunities. And I'm not.
But you know what though?
Yeah.
The majority of our academy players currently right now, they're not exactly.
An answer for that. Is there some?
Sorry, go ahead, Roger.
There's not too many Reece Jameses out there on our youth right now. It looks like we're going through a phase. Bobby would know more about this than I, for sure, because I haven't really been following them lately. But they look. We're not doing that well, it seems, academy-wise, and I don't think we have a current crop of players that are close to crossing over the road from the Cobham, from the under-21s to the.
A lot of people think we have. A lot of people think we do have them, but it's the manager not trusting them. He's more into the sort of issue we had under Graham Potter, where he trusted the more experienced players and didn't give the young players enough opportunity, in my opinion. But go ahead, do what you were saying.
My thing is, though, we wouldn't have to look at the academy kids if they didn't send Ian Matson away.
Yeah. Well, we got
because he didn't have enough height, I guess. So they sent him off, and now he's doing well in Dortmund.
Is he though? I don't know.
Well, besides
he just looks at it closer. Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm just going to try and catch up with what we have in the chat there. Let's see. Coach, remove Petrovic or Sanchez. I'll find you. Okay, go ahead. Coach, imagine back in the days, we used to field a weekend team to face Champions League sides. We're playing our strong lineup. We're so dusted. But the logic, why would, again, the logic behind our decision to leave out Gusto is that, if he gets injured, you could argue the season practically over. That's because as I see, we don't have too many options in the central area, in the back four, which makes sense. So Gusto will be rested for Gilchrist to play. We believe that's going to be the case. Yeah.
Can I just update something about the academy players?
Yeah, please.
The reason why it would seem to be somewhat noticeable that the academy is less prominent than it has been in previous years is because the academy is actually playing in the first team. The team is so young that it's very difficult to differentiate who's who. And we have the young ones that are really, really under development. You know, people like Andre Santos, Angelo Gabriel. I'm glad he is on loan because at the moment he's struggling significantly. And of course, the even younger ones in their development process at Cobham, who are playing in the development squad. Now, there are some very good players there, but they're nowhere near ready for Premier League first team. Even the ones that are in the first team are not ready. Your Nonis and your Mudryks and all that. See how they're struggling. So that's why it seems as if, we don't have these young stars coming out. We do. We still have them, probably even more so. But we've got so many youngsters at the moment that it's hardly worth straining into more youngsters unless you absolutely have to. We had a couple on the bench in the final. I think one of them even came on. I can't remember now, but so I mean, but it is what it is. You know, the team we have is what we have. And if it's that they don't, if it's that they've got to play after 3 days, well, welcome to Chelsea Football Club, where this is what we do. I really don't see the big deal. And if we're going to be afraid that these 20, 21-year-olds, they might have more injuries than that, then something is incredibly more wrong than we thought. You know, they've got to get out there. They've got to win
Well,
that
that's
game.
just it, Bobby. Yeah, that's just it, Bobby. It's like any other year, and I would totally concur with you. But it's like they're pulling muscles, brushing their teeth by the looks of it. I just don't get it.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know,
It's-
this is why I think there comes a time we get to that point where, okay, we've heard this, we have this, but you still have the game to play. So
yeah.
dust yourself down, put on your big boy pants, and get out there and do the business. There's no hiding now. You see what I mean? There's just no hiding, and everything is on the shoulders of the coach. He has to get them playing. As you know, I keep forgetting who's on the panel with us today, but he was so right. If you'd seen on Sunday the difference with the way Poch was on the sideline to the way Klopp was on the sideline, it was pitiable. And do you know what hurts me? The fact that Poch even pities Chelsea. That to me is the most painful, because I'm not that guy. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that guy. I don't want to be associated with that level of defeat. So we are right at the bottom. You don't go any lower than this. If anything, Leeds should be frightened now, because I don't expect anything other than these boys giving Leeds a damn good hiding. It's not enough, but it's a start to let me know, okay, we've got some men here, because I'm sick of this weakness. I'm sick of all this pussyfooting about everything. Go out there. You're being paid money. You know, you're being paid good money. I don't care. 100K a week.
Bobby, you just spoke French.
Sorry, I apologize. But you know, 100K a week, a lot of them. That is not most. Let me tell you, Coach. In fact, I'll tell you that the average person in England doesn't get anywhere near that kind of money in a year. These kids are picking up this money in a
Yeah.
week. Come on, man.
I think the average salary.
About
Correct me if I'm wrong.
30K, if
I
that.
saw it a few weeks. Yeah, no, it's like 36 or something. The median average salary or whatever. It's
Yeah.
It's like the majority of I would say probably all or pretty close to all of our players in the squad. 30 of them are on
Twice that.
per week or on well, yeah, at the very least they're
Yeah.
on what the average person in the United Kingdom gets per annum. They get in 1 week.
And these
So,
people are
yeah,
getting up, whether you're sick, whether you're, you know, most of the time you really have to be really sick before you can not go to work. You know, I'm
yeah.
talking of a
No, I
normal,
totally
decent
agree with you
person.
on that.
So
I totally agree.
I can't excuse this anymore. I'm so sick of what happened that I just can't see a way out. They've got to go and do today. Period. There's just no, and if they don't, they're done. They're done. I don't know where to go from here. So
And go ahead, Bobby. I'll let you drop before I say my lines.
no, I've dropped.
All right. Just quickly, I'm going to say this before I catch up with what we have in the chat. I'm looking for co-hosts, and we can, if you're interested, let me know. We can discuss conversation. It's not going to be free. We discuss the conversation and see if you find out if it is something you would like to do. Let me try and catch up with what we have in the chat here. Gallagher will start. Enzo will Enzo. No, we'll find out. We'll find out today who is the more important player for the manager. But it's difficult to say whether the player he decides to rest is the more important or the player he decides to play is the more important. Coach, why are you resting Gallagher like he's Messi this game? He's the manager's Messi. And I'm going to say that. And you've heard me say that 1,000 times anyway. Yeah, the Blues, we have plenty of grit, youth, but Poch wouldn't play them. We should be looking at these players too. It doesn't matter who starts. They're all scraps. You go into that negative edge place. I've told you that before. He's not losing his job till the end of the season. If things better start going. If things get worse, I think he will. In my opinion. I have to say that, in my opinion. Let's see what we have here. And Josh is in the house. Just appreciate you finding the time to join. That's for you, brother. Oh, my soundboard is disconnected. I forgot that Bluetooth again is in the house, so he jinxed it. You're describing a whiny baby Bobby. Oh my goodness, Pochettino lost the majority of the fan base when Dante still has reservations, but Poch hasn't lost them. You could argue, I'm not too sure what to make of it. Only 200, but 200 is enough sample size to say he hasn't lost the majority of the fan base. But that's just my opinion anyway. Dante, just having a conversation there. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes to go along with. We won the 2012 UEFA Champions League without an elite manager. It was the players that carried Di Matteo. Without those players, we wouldn't have won the 2012 UEFA Champions League. We would have become an Arsenal where they have 0 Champions Leagues. I mean, it's a solid argument, but I'm not going to get into that now. Ancelotti, Conte, Antonio Conte, Carlo Ancelotti may argue with that, but I do see your point there. That's responding to what Bobby said. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. He said, if I see anything I feel like I should get from anybody, let's see. I've got web dev work to do. Okay, peace and good luck. Good. So you're good. You're a web developer. Good to hear. That's where I will criticize these players. They listened to Poch in extra time. They should have just said, screw this. We're not sitting back. Okay, let's see. Academy players. Rain, nice to see you there. And Judah saying Poch is the least of our problems. Our major problems are the owners. Poch is just like having chest pain from a bacterial infection. Painkiller will not cure you until you treat the infection.
What?
Wow.
Come on. Okay, the owners made a mistake. All right. You might not like what the owners went about the way of something, but they did it. So all we can do now is think of ways to better their project. Whether they fire the directors, the manager, but we can't get rid of the owners. I don't understand why people always cry, "Well, it's the owners, it's the owners." Okay, they're here for 10 years, bro. We gotta find a way. Like, are you gonna be crying that your boss is a bad boss all the time? Like, you're gonna have to work around some shit. I mean, sorry.
Very true.
You're gonna have to work around it. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
they
no,
own the gaff. So what are we talking about?
And listen, let's be honest. Have they made mistakes? Yeah, but guess what? They at least are putting their money where their mouth is. They're trying. They're instituting what I've always wanted for Chelsea: an infrastructure. They've hired sporting directors. They're trying at least. Listen,
they're working on a hard reset.
Yeah, and you know what? I guarantee you, I give you my word. You ask most Liverpool, Man U, whomever, any other of our rivals in this league, and they would give their firstborn away to have owners like ours that are willing to not just splash the cash, but try to be innovative and so forth. Listen, at least our owners are trying. And that's all you can ever ask for as a fan of any club. And so to me, yes, I concede the fact that they may have made mistakes, especially early on. But you know what, though? We're lucky to have had 2 consecutive amazing owners. We're very fortuitous.
Roger, I'm dying. What I'm seeing on the screen. Josh, I'm going to say this. I think Roger will send you a check in the mail immediately. That's the sort of comment he likes to see. Not. Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Not a single manager is going. Stop laughing. Not a single manager is going to score those 3 clear chances Gallagher missed. Not Alex Ferguson. You can mention that one. You can mention. You can also mention Enzo's attempted back heel. You can also mention Decisive's. You can say in Decisive's case, you can actually argue that the ball was already in the net, inside the net, and he kicked it out. But I'm just kidding. I was exaggerating anyway. But my point is this: no matter how we try to say, the sole reason why we lost against Liverpool was just down to the managers. You could say tactical ineptitude. I think in a serious argument, I think we will still be taken back to the fact that we had chances to win that game and we didn't take our chances. But
Yeah,
that's not
Exactly.
saying that the manager did everything correctly. But at the same time, what comes first will always be, if we're being factual, if we're being truthful to ourselves, the argument that will always come first is that yeah, we had excellent chances and
Yeah.
then put them away.
You
I,
know,
I think it's as simple as that, in my opinion.
coach,
No
sometimes in
matter how we
life,
want to see it.
it's
sometimes
fine
in life you
margins.
only get one shot.
Yeah,
And you don't waste opportunities. This was such a wasted opportunity. It's not like, if, it's not like, do you know what? In some ways, it would have been better to get a good hiding. Then at least you were beaten. But when you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, there's
Mhm.
nothing more painful. I always tell my children, if you go and do something, do it to the point where you really and truly know there's nothing else you can do. Do you know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
know those players, yeah, all this rubbish, yeah, they gave it all on the pitch, but many of them will walk off and they will regret some of the things they did. As you said, Enzo's back pass, Disasi's chance to shoot, Nkunku's chance to shoot. Those things come once in a while, in a lifetime. That's the pain in it all. When you lose opportunities because you don't get them back. How many
So
times?
Josh is saying Washington just scored today, and after the departure of Amanda Broya and the fact that Nkunku is injured, I think we should give this kid a chance. Go ahead, Bobby, with what you were saying.
Washington. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That is the pain. That was a final after 5 consecutive losses that was there for the taking, and we didn't take it. How do you live that down? How do you live down letting yourself down? That's a very difficult thing to do. That's why fans are so bitter and so hurt and so angry. And that's why Pochettino, well, if he lasts another season, I think it'll be a close miracle.
Mhm. Let's see. Let's see how you feel. I know you haven't spoken. What do you make of this lineup? Do you think it rests players? I'll be shocked. But just go ahead. Let me let you speak.
Yeah, big up coach, big up
Big up to you too,
everyone.
Phil.
Big up Roger, big up
Yeah,
Bob
big
hello.
up, Phil.
in the panel.
And quickly,
So
I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and then I'm going to try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. But I want to say hello to my bro there, PD Blue. Nice to see you. And as I've explained before, I'm just being cautious here. Actually, if you've been paying attention to the way I sound, I'm not fully fit yet, and I don't want to risk a setback leading to us not having our shows in a few days. Go ahead, Phil.
yeah, to be honest with you, this game we played before, I know like we've already discussed about most of it already, but I just wanted to say something before we can actually talk about the game tonight. Like this chance we had versus Liverpool, I don't think we'll get another easier chance to actually get some silverware in the team, because this was just a game which we were supposed to win clearly without any kind of doubt. Because when we played Liverpool, this is just a Liverpool which was depleted, by the way. A Liverpool which did not have Salah, they didn't have Jota, they didn't have who
Nunes.
else? They didn't have Nunez, and those are their main players. They even didn't have Trent as well. And if you see, like later on, before the game got to extra time, they even substituted Konate, one of their best defenders. They put in some young players, and they even lost Gravenberch the beginning of the game. So what else would you want when you have that chance, whereby you see that the team is actually struggling? And I think even Klopp himself, he was just like, let's just give them the game, because if you are putting on people who are 18 and 19 years old, and if you see our team mostly, it's made up of almost the same age group and the same people as well. But we fumbled it. You see, that's kind of the difference between a team which is ambitious and a team which is not. Liverpool were ambitious. They actually came prepared because even though they put in these young players who are playing in Premier League 2, they actually managed to beat us. And that actually comes to, the fact that we just didn't seem like we wanted it. Because you can't tell me that all the 5 clear-cut chances that we had, we couldn't score even one, except that offside goal by Sterling. But it is what it is. But I was really hurt because until now I don't think I have anything else to say, because we can say today we play Leeds. Leeds, they are more organized than us. I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds, they come to Bridge and they actually beat us. I wouldn't be surprised because the players, they don't seem like they actually want to play, and I don't think I think we'll actually have to sit down and talk about some of these things, because I don't think some of these players we have right now, they're actually good enough. I just have to say it. I know some of the people, they will not agree with me, but that's just the truth. And some of the recruitment we have been doing, it's just not good enough, because some of the players we put in, they come and we just don't see anything. Because if you're a team which is as big as Chelsea, then you go and recruit players, you expect that when you substitute players, you actually see a change in pace and a change in game, whereby you actually know that you're putting these players, they're going to win you the game. But some of the substitutes we make, they don't seem to actually want to play. They just seem like they're just coming anyway, because they're told that you should just go and play. So it's just not good enough. But I think the same lineup that we have right here, I don't know what to say, because to be honest with you, I'm not even confident we're going to win anyway, because this game that we played and we lost to Liverpool, I think it was that game which was going to be a make or break game of our season. And after losing, I don't think the players are going to be as motivated enough. So I don't know. Maybe other people, they have a different perspective, but that's just my own point of view.
Houston, I understand that side from you. The situation is energy draining. It's heartbreaking. It's anything you want to call it. And trying to say, yeah, but Van Dijk won them the game, and that's called experience. I agree. And you could argue they knew would struggle in that area the moment the bench went up, which was why I was arguing if I were the manager, I'd let him finish that game. It doesn't matter whether he's tired or whether you felt something. That's the sort of game you stay and finish. Ray, nice to see you, brother. Speaking, what else do we have here? Anything else to address? Anybody else on the panel has anything else to talk about before we call it a day? I have to run as soon as possible. Let's see this one here. The mentality of the players was a shocking, so fearful or simply not willing to give their all. Houston, I'm going to say this. I think the players overall, they did their best on the day, in my opinion. They actually played well, created good enough chances to win the game, even though I still think...
sound like Graham Potter.
It sounds like it. Even though I have my argument where I think the manager did falter on the day, but that's another argument for another day.
Can I just say one thing very briefly?
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool, top of the league with 38 goal difference, positive difference. Chelsea 11th with a positive 1 goal difference. That's the difference. We have players. And the gentleman that just spoke, I concur with him. these players that we have, they're very youthful. They're years away from being in their prime. They're not. They're projects right now. They are purchased based on their potential, their ceiling. The majority of them, let's be honest. Yeah, you've got one player that's 39. Disasi is entering his prime, but the vast majority of these players, this is the youngest squad in the Premier League. We have averaged the youngest starting 11 so far this season. So you have to look at it in that way. This is a project. And you have five. Listen, this isn't a surprise. We're not Man City that just score goals for fun and all of a sudden we choked and didn't score in this final. No, we have players that are not clinical. Let's be honest. Yeah, Nkunku is, but obviously he's not 100%. This is the reason. Listen, I'm not saying what Bobby and the other gentlemen are saying is incorrect. All I'm trying to say is my belief, and I've said this from day one, once the whistle blows, these players cross the line. The execution that is based, the responsibility has to fall on the players. If a penalty is being taken, like West Ham, when Enzo misses the penalty, hypothetically, I'm just bringing that as an example. I'm not picking on him at all. You're going to blame Poch for that? No. Enzo has to take the responsibility for missing that penalty. It's that simple.
I agree with you. The 90 minutes, the players should have won that game in the 90.
Yeah, is that no?
I agree.
Listen, you win as a team, you lose as a team.
Huh?
Yeah. I concede that. I'm not disputing that. But let's be honest, we had 5 missed shots, and that is not an aberration. We've seen this all season long. I've got a spreadsheet that shows our XG.
It's nothing new.
It's like so. Why? I'm shocked that we're shocked.
So basically, we're not good enough.
No,
my
we're not.
thing is though, I knew the attack wasn't gonna be as potent as I thought because I knew we had a bunch of kids in the up front, right?
Sure.
But our midfield is non-existent. Our defense gotten worse.
Yes, it has.
Yes,
it really has.
So this is my big problem with Poch. Our midfield is terrible. It's like an open door policy. The only person in the midfield is Caicedo.
Yeah, it's a revolving door, isn't it?
Yes, and then
come on in.
And then the defense, we had 4 left backs started. We had 4 left backs in the beginning of the season. Now we only have 1.
Yeah. No, I get, but you must concede though. Injuries is depleted.
Yeah, injuries definitely. But I'm not saying Matson's a world beater, but setting away a position of need is pretty silly in my opinion.
Yeah, but we have,
and then you send Broya away too, who I don't think is good, but you still.
Yeah, I agree. You know? But listen, we've used 4th stringer in the right back and the left back. But let's be honest. You can't blame certain people when you've got 3 deep people in that left back position, and all of a sudden, all 3 of them go down injured, and you're using a 4th.
Matson was never injured.
No, I'm talking about the people ahead of him. That's why you have to use Colwell in that position.
And then we got rid of Livramento. We got rid of what's his name, Lewis, for the dude that we gave away to Newcastle.
Oh yeah. Hall.
Yeah, Lewis Hall.
Lewis Hall.
Yeah. No, but do you understand?
He's still not gone, actually. Hall is still not gone. He could come back.
Oh, yeah, it's an option.
That's because they haven't. He hasn't played enough game for us for it to lead to them
to trigger.
You can say purchasing him. Yeah, I agreed. It doesn't look like they're serious about keeping him, because if they're serious about keeping him, he should be playing week in, week out. It looks like they're prioritizing. It looks like they're looking at other areas that they feel like they need to get in reinforcements, and not because they consider him a defender from what we've seen. So chances are he comes back at the end of the season. But go ahead with what you were saying.
I just think it's a myriad of different reasons, and not excuses, but reasons. Lack of execution, maybe poor strategic planning in the back office and in the coaching staff and the fitness. There's a plethora of reasons to go around. We're 11th for a reason, with 60+% of the season gone. That's a large enough sampling size that this isn't an aberration. Just like we ended up 12th last year. Why? Well, because we are what we are. A 1 goal difference, that tells you after 25 games, I think it is, or 26, I think it's 25. That tells you enough. It really does. Now the defense is leaking, but they've had some serious issues with regards to to injury. So I can give the coaching staff and even the players a little bit of leeway in that. But you're right about the midfield. You're right. I've had concerns from day one that Enzo, and so with Bobby, Enzo and Caicedo, these are perfect. Listen, what we have is a finesse team. And in case you hadn't noticed, we don't play in a finesse league. You know, I totally concur. Checkmate. You can't defend that.
I just don't think he's putting these players in the best positions to show themselves. You know, like I can't.
What the formation? Maybe I don't know.
Tell like Enzo last season under Potter was way better than this season. He was actually in the midfield. He was controlling the game. He was getting the ball. Now these days he's playing next to the 10. He's not in the midfield at all. He's not even there.
You know what it is? Enzo and Caicedo, they're not big enough, they're not strong enough, they're not fast enough to play in this league together. It seems thus far. Doesn't mean to say they can't in the future, but now they have made adjustments recently where they're playing together. And if you look at the defensive line, the distance between the defensive line, the midfield, and the forwards, that gap has narrowed. So they're closer together now. They're more compact vertically, I'm talking about, not horizontally. But Bobby and I, listen, we've watched this league for a long time, and I have severe reservations about these. They can play in other leagues. I think they would excel in the Spanish league and the Italian league, but we've seen us being cut open, carved, like surgically carved open, especially in transition. That's the thing that really gets me. Yeah, you know, I concur with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and it's the same things over and over that we're bad at over and over. And it's like, are we making any progression to like stop this stuff? Like, it doesn't seem like it, because every time it's the same thing. Like, he has to notice that and do something. Like, you're a coach, you could figure out a way, right?
But your hands are tied when you don't have anyone to come through. And plus, what's he going to do? He's going to bench £100 million+ players. It's like, listen, we have Lavia.
Klopp's hands were tied during that final, right? He instilled faith into them. He had them prepared for the moment.
Yeah, Lavia. We haven't seen Lavia. We've hardly seen Nkunku. Wesley Fofana. Listen, I'm not making excuses, but these are important people on what was considered to be part of this project going forward. And what have we seen of Lavia this year? A couple of nanoseconds. Same with Nkunku. Yeah, our defense has been, if it wasn't for a 39-year-old this season, where would we be? Bobby and I would be called up probably. It's ridiculous. It's just, obviously I'm self-deprecating humor here.
I totally understand, Benjamin. That was funny.
Sad,
please,
funny.
I think we have to run. We'll do a vertical format show later in the day. The experiment worked last time. We still, and like I said on that day, it won't take away our regular format, the full screen format. But that one will help us reach people who we've not been able to reach in the past. So I want to say thank you to everybody that found the time to join us on the panel. Kishan, I wish you'd be a regular. I know you have other responsibilities or commitments that probably haven't allowed you time to come be part of the conversation. Roger, of course, never misses it as long as he has the time and the energy to be on the panel. Bobby, thank you once again. We'll keep praying for you for quick for God to give you strength to be able to deal with the situation you're facing. 5-0 Chelsea, Palmer, hat-trick, Jackson. Here's the two reasons why I think we're going to win today. They haven't lost in like 12 games in a row. Whenever we hear that, just usually beat them. Plus, what else comes to mind? We need to react. I think the players will react today. We're getting good reaction from them. Enzo and Caicedo should both play as 8 in a 3-man midfield, 4-3-3 structure. Honestly, will work. I'm not sure why we haven't played that, but you can argue that's basically the application. You can argue that's basically the application whenever we play. I know we start with the 4-2-3-1 structure, but the application more like 4-4-2 sometimes. You see 4-4-2 sometimes. Sometimes you see 4-2-3-1. Sometimes I think the application is more of 4-3-3 and also a 4-4-2. But keep the likes on the stream, people. Sorry, I can't get everything we have in the chat. I appreciate you all, from the Bluetooth game to Constantine Dante, Supreme Court to Richmond Makers, Mabas 05, my Iraqi bro there. I appreciate you all. Yeah, Roger, Bobby, you were saying something?
Yes, we definitely need a reaction. In fact, we have no choice but to react. But we have to remember, there are no trophies at the end of a reaction. So always looking for a reaction is not the solution to this humiliation. The humiliation is winning and keep winning. But I hear you. We have to start with this, and we have to be men and swallow the pain and go forward. But we should never dare to think that anything done here tonight is enough to cover up that disaster on Sunday. Never. That's going to take years. That's going to take probably 6 trophies in a row to cover that mess.
Yeah.
All right, with that, we've come to the natural end of the show, and I want to say thank you to all of you. I've called people by name and thanked them. And if I missed your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, sir.
Great.